All right, welcome to the Pig and a Pickle Krueg Show. And of course, we're brought to you by Pig and a Pickle. Check them out in Emeryville and Corte Madera, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. All right, we're going to do a little 49er look back at the draft. And the Niners got an absolute steal in this draft. And it's Joey Fisher, the undrafted offensive tackle from Shepherd University. And he's the perfect player for the 49ers, and I'll tell you why. But let's talk a little bit about what makes Fisher so special. Interesting kid, went to a small high school in Western Maryland, went to go play for Randy Edsall, and then, at Maryland, then left Maryland. There wasn't anybody there to really pound the table after Edsall left. He wound up at Towson and then wound up basically working with his father as a locksmith for a couple years until he ran into Ernie McCook, the head coach and offensive line coach for Shepherd University, who gave him a shot as a tight end. And then eventually he said, hey, we'll try you out on the line. Gave him a look at offensive line, and he took to it. And he became a great offensive lineman at Shepherd University. And then, his story is incredible. He had a great career at Shepherd University. He got invited to the collegiate PA game and looked great that week. In fact, was dominating in practices for my buddy who was down there watching. And he said, man, this kid really looked great. Then he breaks his hand and he winds up, even though he got invited to the Senior Bowl, he couldn't participate. He still went to the Senior Bowl, did all the interviews and met everybody, but he couldn't play in the game and he couldn't participate in the practices. And subsequently, he didn't get invited to the combine. And if he had gotten invited to the combine, the 49ers would not have gotten this player. That was the most brilliant streak of luck, is that Joey Fisher didn't get invited to the combine. Because if he had, there's no doubt he would have been drafted. And, let's talk about what exactly he did, because he did work out in Shepherdstown, West Virginia, in front of 31 NFL teams. And man, did this kid work out. 4.90 is what he ran the 40 in. Just to put that into perspective, we're talking about a guy who's 6'5", 322 pounds, and he ran 4.90. Now, Broderick Jones, who went to Georgia and ultimately went to the Steelers in the draft, ran 4.97, and that was the best of any offensive lineman at the combine. So Fisher had the best offensive line 40 time of anybody at the combine by a wide margin. 4.90 to 4.97. That's a huge, huge difference. Then Fisher went in the bench press and put up 40 reps of 225. And at the combine, the entire combine, only 6 players of the 300 plus that were invited did more than 30 reps of 225. In fact, the most of any player at the combine was the USC offensive lineman Andrew Voorhees, who put up 38 reps. Well, Fisher in Shepherdstown, West Virginia, put up 40. Then you look at the 10-yard split. Who had the 10-yard split? Because let's be honest, the 40 doesn't mean anything for an offensive lineman. It's the first 10 yards. And yeah, this kid was a Division II All-American, but let's see what he looks like inside of 10 yards and compare it to the rest of the field before we lose our mind. Maybe he's got build-up speed. He's a little bit older. Maybe he's got old man speed. Who knows? Well, the 10-yard split was 167. That would have been number one among all offensive linemen in Indy. Blake Freeland, enormously, athletically gifted offensive lineman from BYU at a 40-inch vertical. Freeland had the best measured 10-yard split of any of the O linemen at 168. So you've got a Division II All-American who in the workout numbers demonstrates that he's as quick and as powerful as any offensive lineman in the country. In a league where offensive line play has never been worse and almost every team in the league is desperate for offensive linemen, he went undrafted. It's a huge break for the 49ers. And the Niners pounced on this break. Credit Peters, credit Lynch, credit their scouts. They were all over this kid. And then Ernie McCook, in a great piece written by Dave Lombardi of The Athletic, he quotes Ernie McCook, the offensive line coach and head coach for Shepherd, as basically just saying, I'm shocked that Joey didn't get drafted. I'm absolutely shocked. I mean, seriously, you can't put it any more concretely than that. The head coach and his O-line coach is shocked that he didn't get drafted. He said he's got a great desire to learn. very athletic. He can bend. He's a really good athlete. Then he went on to say what a wonderful kid he is. He comes from a great family. The family breeds Rottweilers, and Ernie bought one from them, and he's real close with the family and loves this kid and thinks he's absolutely fantastic. So great kid from a great family who's incredibly athletic and can bend and is 6'5" and 320 plus pounds, has far and away the best 40 time, far and away the most reps on the bench, and the best 10-yard split of any offensive lineman in Indy, and does not get drafted. What a break. What a break for the Niners. And credit the Niners because they were all over it. They were all over it. They kept in contact with that kid. They made a connection with him. In the 7th round, they're on the horn with him. Joey, we want you. We want you. We want you. If you don't get drafted, we want you. He doesn't get drafted. And they sign him, and they give him $130,000 guaranteed, a $15,000 signing bonus, and $115,000 guaranteed on top of that. They guaranteed this kid in a sport where only Deshaun Watson and a few select quarterbacks have guarantees of anything. They guaranteed this kid $130,000. Why? Because they know he's the perfect piece to the puzzle for what they're looking for. And let's talk about why he's the perfect piece and not just a good player. He does have 32-inch arms, so the arms are a little shorter than you'd like, and some teams won't look at him as a tackle. Some teams will look at him strictly as a guard. The Jets worked him out as a center. But let's think about it on game day. Your offensive line is going to be left to right, Trent Williams, if everybody's healthy. Trent Williams, Aaron Banks, Jake Brendel, Spencer Burford, and likely Colton McKivitz at right tackle. And on game day, you're not dressing everybody. You're dressing 3 guys in addition, maybe 3 extra O linemen, sometimes 2. So, you're either going to dress 7 O linemen or 8. And those are your front 5. So what do you really need on game day from O linemen 6, 7, and 8, or O linemen 6 and 7? Versatility. Now, Matt Pryor is a tackle. Jason Poe is a guard. Jalen Moore is just a tackle. But in Nick Zakelj, I think Zakelj can play all 5 spots. John Feliciano, he can play either guard spot or center and probably anything in a pinch. He's a veteran. And that's the beauty of Joey Fisher. He can play center, he can play guard, he can play tackle. So you have on game day positional versatility, and you got a guy who can play, all 3 spots and maybe be a starting tackle down the road, maybe be a starter at right guard. But this was a phenomenal pick because not only did they get the strongest offensive lineman in the draft, not only did they get the quickest offensive lineman in the draft, they got a guy who has experience at multiple spots and can be up on game day and play a number of different spots. And that is a huge advantage. So, you know what? What is Joey Fisher? Is he a center? Is he a guard, or is he a tackle? He's a great athlete. He's incredibly quick. He's incredibly powerful. He's really, really hungry. He's got great 10-yard split quickness. He demonstrated that. Great strength. But he's got that versatility. He's got the versatility to help you on game day. So this was a very valuable addition for the 49ers. They don't just get a good player. They get potentially a starter, but they also get a guy who's mature, serious about football, and can play guard, center, or tackle. And on game day, they're going to be thrilled that they have Joey Fisher. All right, hope you enjoyed our 49er video. Check out Pig and a Pickle in their 2 locations, Emeryville or Corte Madera. And thanks to all of you for supporting the Krueg Show on YouTube.